Hello, this is Molly with 30 Days of Goddess and the Goddess Magic Mystery School with a quick flip through video of my completed books from my June practices. And I do wish to say at the very beginning that nobody has to do all of the things that I create. One of the reasons I create so many things is both because I really like making things and I find that these enrich and support and inspire my life, and that they also reach out to enrich and inspire and support other people's lives, but that it's also to create a buffet of possibilities, so to speak, so that people can use whatever bits and pieces work best for them. A lot of what I create integrates really nicely with other people's work, and you will see a lot of other people's work reflected in my stuff because it's kind of a buffet of possibilities. And so in June, our theme was back to the roots. So we were exploring kind of the roots of daily practice. There's a whole free series called Back to the Roots available in a dedicated collections tab at the Goddess Magic Mystery School in the collections section there. And one of the things that I was doing was rerouting into the beginnings of this practice. 30 Days of Goddess started more than 2,000 days ago now. And this little booklet was actually one that I had made very early in the practice, but possibly like before it had even started. And I did it with this double 2 sewn as 1 binding, which I've never used again in my booklets that I create. And I create a lot of booklets. And so I had this sitting in my stuff and I thought, what perfect time to use it for Back to the Roots. I also was experimenting with writing a smaller amount. I used to write just a little bit, and then as time has gone on, I have started to just write a whole bunch of stuff every day. And I thought maybe it would be nice to let myself just write a tiny bit again like I used to. And so you will see a lot of, we went to Nevada at the beginning of June, and so you'll see a lot of pictures and maps and things like that represented in the early pages of the book, because sometimes the book's themes relate to directly, and we got a little stamp at Valley Fire, and sometimes the book pages themes relate directly to the word of the day, but more often they relate to what I'm actually doing in that day, or both, a combination of both. My writing always connects to the word of the day. And this page, just keeping it really simple. I think that was a travel day where we were at the airport, and so many things represented in here, and it was fun to work with the little book. And at first it felt very liberating to me to only have this teeny tiny page to fill and this teeny tiny work to do, so to speak. And then I started to feel like I missed my larger books, and what I reminded myself of was that, so those are all our solstice pictures and those Father's Day cards that my kids made, and then solstice pictures with a rose from solstice. But then what I realized is that I've created what I've created for a reason. And so my books are, the size they are for a reason, and the, space, they're set up the way they are because I like them, and that's how they, they work well for me that way. And so I was actually really looking forward to getting back to the larger book in July, because I like what I've made and I like using what I've made, and I hope other people find it useful as well. And so lots of pieces in here represented from Amanda Fall at the Phoenix Soul, some stuff from P.S. Good Art on Patreon. I don't know what's wrong with me all of a sudden. And some other bits and pieces from Debbie at Ink and Page also represented. I think that's who I saw as I was flipping through there. And Pele was actually my random draw. So she's our goddess for August, but she was my random card draw for June. So that was kind of fun. Oh, I see Dancing Goddess Dispatch also represented. That is from Kimberly Rodriguez. So she's also represented in here. I think I saw just about everybody who I had represented in that way. And we're actually going to move really quickly over to the Book of Magic Days booklet for June as well. This is a cover that was art mail from Amanda Fall, the Phoenix Soul also, and then my own snapshot cards are inside, and an old calendar page to reinforce the cover. Let's see what I did on this. Oh, yeah, I'll get there in a second. And for this one, I make multiple variations of the Book of Magic Days. I'm not going to be doing the Book of Magic Days format in next year. That's only for this year, and these will hopefully, if I play my cards right, no pun intended, if I play my cards right, these pages will become a finished 365-day reader at the end of the year that will then be available for people to use next year in a daily reader format. And then this has been a lot of work to create all these pages and all the variations in terms of cards. And so next year I'm going back to the roots with my original 30 Days of Goddess Practice, my original prayer books. I'm using the same word lists, and then I have all new snapshot cards, and we're also going to be working with a chakra inspired wheel for next year. And so instead of being synced up with the holidays, we're going to have the monthly practices synced up with my words for them each month, and then we're going to have a separate chakra inspired units, so to speak, that unfold every 7 weeks in the Goddess Magic Mystery School, but are independent of the Wheel of the Year holidays. We will continue to follow the Wheel of the Year holidays with our Simple and Sacred Life Circle, and then with the monthly 30 Days of Goddess Practice was our thematic words and our snapshot cards. And I have some little poetry books planned and some ritual books and some handbooks and things like that. But we're going to have kind of two separate tracks, so to speak. So this is my June Book of Magic Days, and like I said, I have multiple variations. So there's one where instead of having the pages all printed in a row like this, there's an extra blank page so you can use it for art journaling at the same time. And I was doing that at the beginning of this year, and then I decided, like I said, I kind of missed my original prayer books, and there's a reason that I created them. And when I keep trying to, please everybody else and forget why I created something, then sometimes I miss it, and I need to remind myself, like, it's okay to use what I've created the way that I want to and the way that I've enjoyed creating it. And other people are also welcome to modify their practices and use what works for them. So I know some people use happy planners, some people I combined the desire map planner before, some people just use a regular date book, some people use a blind notebook, some people use a blank journal, and some people use the printed prayer books that you can get from lulu.com. And all of those things are fine. This practice is here to hold you, support you, and nourish you, and nurture you, not to tell you what to do. So I got some art on the back of this one from Jonathan Stalls over on Patreon, my own little sticker, which I am admiring the sparkliness. And this is my monthly handbook for Tara. So I have not actually decided, and then I send the color oracle cards out as magic mail. So there's the Tara oracle card that went out as magic mail to members at the magic mail level of the Goddess Magic Mystery School, and another oracle card, and my own snapshot cards. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do about handbooks next year, so stay tuned for that. I am leaning towards making kind of a broad resource like the snapshot cards, but so maybe some poems and some quotes and questions to consider for each month, but then leaving it really kind of open-ended so that my creativity works best when I feel the freedom of the crucible of creation and not like I have to keep doing things. And I'm really susceptible to making something once that's a fun idea and then feeling locked in and like I have to do it for eternity or for the next, for the next year. And so what I've ended up doing, my Book of Magic Days was intended to kind of simplify the practice, and what has ended up happening is that essentially I'm writing 2 new books every month, the Book of Magic Days book and then this monthly handbook. And next year, and then I always worry about, people being disappointed because they're not getting something that they used to get, or, whatever. And what I've realized is if I keep my stated promise relatively simple, then that leaves the door open for all kinds of fun surprises and new creations. And I need to remember that. So let's say I'm not going to do a handbook every month next year as far as like a stated promise. Well, that leaves the door open for me to sometime one month do a prompts booklet, one month do a different kind of deck, one month do a ritual series, one month do another type of dedicated series, one month do a handbook like this, or one month do a handbook that's got a different more focused topic, whatever it is. And so I want to make sure that I leave the door open enough that I don't feel so locked into having to create the same set of resources that then the new ideas have to just get squeezed in around the edges, or they get piled in and kind of overwhelm people by so many options. And so that's my plan for next year, is to simplify the original stated offerings and then leave plenty of room for inspiration to strike and guide me. And you can always, if you've been around for any length of time, you know that you can always trust me to create more than I promise, not less than I promise. And so I'm going to keep my promise relatively small, and you can trust that from that many, many new and wonderful things will grow. So thank you for watching and exploring these June resources with me. Make sure to go to 30daysofgoddess.com for plenty of free printables for you. And then you can also go to Goddess Magic Mystery School for the Back to the Roots collection that I mentioned, but also to join as a member of our community. And as a paid member of the community, you have access to live weekly community practices that are really fun. I'm the only one who's on screen, but everybody else can participate via chat. And those are really great. We have live monthly ritual circles. We have posts just about every day, but you can pick and choose the ones that meet your needs and catch your interests. We have divination videos. We have guided meditations. We have loads of printable booklets and resources. And but really the community connection with those live community practices is really special and very important. And so I do welcome you to join us over there, goddessmagicmysteryschool.com. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.